What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here with some interesting news, and I really would love to know your opinion about this. If you guys haven't been following the news, pretty much Xcloud, Stadia, any streaming app, even Geforce now, was banned off of Apple's devices. Apple saying that they want each app, each game within the streaming service to be able to be reviewed separately, and that ended up being kind of the line in the sand that's been drawn. But we've got breaking news right now that Apple is basically giving Stadia and Xcloud, presumably GeForce Now and other streaming services, the green light. And there's actually some interesting caveats. In fact, if we just kind of jump in here to the rule that changes we'll cover it. 3.1.2a, games offered in a streaming games service subscription must be downloaded directly from the App Store and must be designed to avoid duplicate payment by subscriber. They should not also disadvantage non-subscriber customers. So let's break down what this means. Engadget has a really good write-up of it, so we'll dive into this article. And again, as always, link will be in the description below. Go give the article some love. It's the best way that we can keep supporting like media that we can cover here. That way they get to run the ads and things like that and actually get paid for writing up these articles, doing this research and more. So again, thanks to Engadget and more. So again, all links in the description, guys. Go give them some love. So it says Apple has issued revised App Store guidelines that pave the way for game streaming services such as Stadia and Xcloud, GeForce Now, and Facebook Gaming to actually run on iOS devices. But here's the catch. You need to download each game individually from the App Store. So what does that mean? That means essentially, let me just grab my iPhone. I have an iPhone and an Android. The Android works great with game streaming services like Xcloud, like Stadia. Works great in my house. We've got the internet. We've got the bandwidth. No issues. iOS, it hasn't ever been. Like, I can't do this. But what they mean is instead of firing up like Xcloud and seeing all my games that I can play at the click of a button, what Apple is basically saying is they're saying you have to download that game individually, even though you're actually not downloading it. You're downloading a client that launches that game directly, thus allowing Apple to have control over ratings of the game, to have parental control concerns. And that's, I think, one of their big concerns when it comes down to the games themselves. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that it's an interesting compromise, and we'll have to see ultimately how it pays off. So anyway, games offered in the streaming game service subscription must be downloaded directly from the App Store and must be designed to avoid duplicate payments to the subscriber. So you don't have to pay for the service and then have to pay for that individual game itself, which means that I could easily see that if they brought subscription-based games like Final Fantasy XIV to the platform, that's going to be, I don't know how that's going to be handled. And that means I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of curated list, assuming that Microsoft and Google and Nvidia decide to go ahead and say that this is the right way forward. So streaming game services may offer a catalog app on the App Store to help users sign up for the service and find games on the App Store, meaning you can, within their ecosystem, you can say, hey, check out all the games that are available through this service, sign up through the service through Apple devices, and then you can have access to all these games, almost kind of like how Game Pass works on an Xbox. You have a little membership option, and then you click that and it's going to show you all the games that you can play. That's what it's sounding like, how it's connecting. So anyway, all the games included in the catalog app must link to an individual app and store page for a store product. I think that's essentially kind of their big hangup. Now, Apple has come under fire recently over its App Store practices lately on a number of fronts, particularly from game publishers. And we're seeing the battle with Epic, of course, right now that's in a legal battle where they did the whole Fortnite thing, which seems like a strong flex, honestly. Chris and I had a long conversation about it. I wish it was recorded, but anyway, it is for what it is. And currently, Fortnite is also off the App Store and off of Androids. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Now, Microsoft and Facebook, both who've actually expressed their support for Epic in this fight, have hit it out at Apple's rules too, and they said that the guidelines limited their gaming apps from iPhones and iPads. The Xcloud and GeForce Now apps aren't available on iOS at all, and while you can't play games through Stadia, you can actually still manage your Stadia account on iOS, etc. So that's always been a real weird thing. That's where it's like, if I'm going to play a Stadia app, I play it on my, on my Android, rather than my phone itself. Anyway, Last month, Apple said that it had to limit the game streaming services because it said it would have to review and approve each title individually, and rules that actually don't apply to non-interactive streaming services like Netflix and Spotify. Having each game as an individual app meant that it'll show up in charts and in search and user ratings and reviews, and can be managed with screen time and other parental control apps. Which honestly, as a parent, I find that very appealing, as opposed to just handing my kid like, hey, yeah, go ahead and play some games. Here's Xcloud. They log in because they're probably under my account, because I doubt I'm going to be paying for like a family, like they don't have a family plan. So yeah, and then all of a sudden they have access to Gears 5 versus like another, like, hey, here's the game that I actually wanted you to play. But to be able to manage that individually is actually a strength. So I am leaning that this seems to be like a decent compromise. So having, though, to download each Stadia or Xcloud game, or at least an app, will kind of break up and defeat the purpose of the game streaming service as a platform. However, I wonder if it is a fair compromise. And so again, the question out to you guys, is this a fair compromise? Sound off in the comments below. We can have that conversation. So this move is going to give game streaming services a degree of parity with Apple's own game subscription service, Apple Arcade. And you need to download those games individually with that too. Elsewhere, the updated App Store guidelines, Apple has made some changes that apply to in-person classes that are purchased through the app, one-on-one virtual sessions that don't need to go through Apple's payment process, but those all have an instructor teaching multiple people at will. So interesting article by Engadget in that regards. And as always, I'd love to know kind of y'all's thoughts and feedback as it relates to just this item. Now, game streaming isn't for everybody, and you guys have heard that, hopefully for me on occasion. I really end up enjoying it as a content creator and especially as a streamer, being able to move all that processing off my computer so that my computer just handles the stream. Now, I've got decent internet, and we've covered it in videos and guides, and I'm planning on actually on this channel bringing out like Geforce Now, kind of everything you need to know. Same thing as applies to Shadow PC, Stadia, Xcloud. All these services have strengths and weaknesses, and they're all kind of trying to tackle the same problem in different ways. And it'll be interesting to see who ultimately comes out ahead. I know Stadia likes to be memed on by people, but it's usually from people who haven't actually touched the service or have used it on Mac and have horrible lag. It's interesting in all of this that Macintosh doesn't necessarily run Stadia within the browser as well. It seems to run better outside of it, and that was an interesting revelation. So we've got Chris testing out some things, especially as it relates to GeForce Now and other games of the service and stuff. I hope, if nothing else, like regardless of what services or what your cloud stance on cloud gaming is, I hope this also brings the fact that GeForce Now could come to the service and more. Hopefully this kind of helps break up that. It's going to be interesting to see how GeForce Now handles it, because GeForce Now only just taps into the games that you already own. And I guess we'll have to see. I guess maybe if they offer some kind of catalog app service item. Ultimately, we don't know. Anyway, that wraps it up for me, guys. This is just a totally random news break thrown at me, and I thought, maybe you'd be interested. And if you were, let me know. If you feel like I earned it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, come back for more videos, and let me know if you do so I can welcome you officially to the Soul Nation. But for Ginger Prime, my name's Brian. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.